I'm getting tantalisingly close now to putting the mast up on this boat which has never been sailed before. It's a Warrenpahi 42 plywood and an epoxy Polynesian style catamaran. It's a very ocean going design and I intend to sail oceans with it eventually, but I just want to get sailing this summer. We're so close now and I'm rigging up this, which is actually a really large boat and with a big old mast, and it's quite daunting, and I perhaps do not have the experience to be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. In this week's episode there's a lot of shoddy DIY. In fact, the DIY is probably just a little bit more shoddy than the music in this one. I really hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching. So I got off the phone to Hanneke the other day. She told me how to measure my stays. First, what I'm doing is just plotting every single attachment point for the stays on these drawings. I've got slightly less of a rake and my mast foot is slightly forward, so I'm just drawing my mast on exactly how it is, taking a lot of time trying to be as precise as possible. When you're working at these small scales, if you make a measurement a centimetre out, then that's a whole foot out, so I have to be very careful, and it's quite scary. We had a nice long phone call and I recorded it, but the sound was not recorded, really, unfortunately, because it was a really nice call. But she showed me the technique of how to do it. I sent her a video initially and asked her, Hanneke, can I measure my stays like this? I thought I could just do the stays the length of the attachment point to the bottom of the mast, and then because it will move out, it will then give enough gap for the lanyard, because the stays don't go all the way to the side of the boat. They allow for a tensioning lanyard which is 1 foot. However, to work out the total length of the stay, I have to take a point from the attachment point vertically down to where the chain plate hole is, and then I need to use the top down plans, then plot the chain plate position on the side of it, and then draw a line between where the line comes to at chain plate level to the side of the boat, and then draw a line from those to make a big triangle, and then I'll get the length of the stay. Yeah, and I have to do that with so many stays, and it's just a lot of work. But taking my time is the only thing I can do. So these are the measurements I can take from the plans, vertical and horizontal. I just need to draw a line from the points, and that will give me the length of the complete stay with shackles and lanyards. So I'm just using a scale calculator which I found off Google. The scale is 1 to 32, so the total length between the attachment point and the chain plate is 23.2 centimeters. 23.2 centimeters is 7.424. So one big job that I've not actually done is my lower shrouds. So I've done intermediate cap shrouds and I've not done lower shrouds. There's no attachment point on the mast. I'm going to have to drill a hole through the mast and make a little plate, I think. So this is a lower shroud attachment point which was put on by the previous owner, and it looks maybe not too great. But this area around the hatches where the lower shrouds are supposed to be looks very well reinforced, so I think I am going to put one loopy bolt on here, and then 4 of this. I don't know where I'm going to attach it to. At some point I'll take that out and just see what the wood composition is of the deck, and then I'll work out what to do. But this one's not been put in very well. This will just give the mast wall a little bit of extra thickness. The downward pull on the stays will be coming from this as well as the mast, so it doesn't tear an elongated hole. But yeah, I need to order some stuff to complete it, but yeah, filling in a nice knowledge gap at least. It's getting a little bit disjointed now, going from measuring, doing the engines and all sorts of stuff, but I'm just trying to fill in some knowledge gaps, and then I'll have to create another shopping list as well. So the places where the stays attached to on the mast, some of them look a little bit DIY. I'm also trying to work out whether to use clevis pins or directly to these little tangs or this and that. So the weather's really not too great for June, but hopefully it'll pick up soon. But yeah, a lot of measuring and messing around. So I've ordered the stuff that I need for that lower shroud fitting. I'm going to get my mast moved tomorrow so I can work on it properly. I'm going to have to drill holes from either side. But in the meantime, I'm going to work on my Dyneema bridle stays. These are the two ends which come up to meet the main forestay, backstay, inner forestay. So I can do them now, I can put them on the boat, and then I can work out exactly how long my forestays and etc need to be. I've already done a bit of practicing, but in this version I used the open-ended thimbles, which I've been advised are not good for rigging, and I can kind of see why. Because Dyneema is made up of lots of little strands, because they're open, they sort of nick away at the little strands. These are good for like railings and stuff like that, but not to keep your mast up. So I've got these fully enclosed ones with an extra bit of support, really nice and chunky, and are built for standing rigging. I definitely need to improve on this, but that's kind of why I'm doing these bridle stays first, because the inner one is not as important. It's not going to be taking too much load, it's more just to put a sail on. I'll start with that one, and then as with everything, you just get better and better as you go along with it. So I'll start with the least important and get cracking. All I need to fully DIY rig my whole boat is the Dyneema, the thimbles, a fid, a pen, a really good pair of scissors because it's difficult to cut through this stuff. Alrighty, Dyneema is essentially hollow. There's a hollow space between the strands, and I need to bury this tail end inside there. So a lot of people are saying 72 times the diameter of the Dyneema, which this is 10, so 72 centimeters. I've got 76, that'll do. And then that's where the thimble goes. And I mark off those 2 points there. I need to pass the tail through here. Have to make sure it goes right through the middle. So it's 12 strands, so 6 on each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pop that through. Then those 2 points kind of line up. Alright, so you take that out, pull this up. I'm going to put that tail end through the other mark. And then because I don't have access to the other end of the rope, this is why I have to reverse it basically. So I'll pull that out, make a nice big hole, pull it in on itself, and that makes a nice hole. Now I need to put that loop through the inverted knot. Try not to nick any strands. It's difficult to get these on. Oh. Alrighty, so that's my end loop, and then I just need to bury this tail. Alright, so I pass that tail through, bury this into the fid a bit more. Okay. That's buried in there, but the reason why Dyneema breaks and the death of stays is because anywhere where you have a large increase of angle, it breaks there. So if I taper this tail, then there won't be any harsh angles that the Dyneema has to deal with. So I just need to cut it strand by strand. So pull that core up as far as possible. Like that. So every 5.3 centimeters I will take out a strand. Okay, so now that that's all tapered off, it will fit in nicely in the core. Hopefully. Take my feed out and then milk it on. Okay. Alright, so this one up here turned out half decent, but then down here I ended up nicking some fibres, and it's not good. And that's actually a very costly mistake, because this stuff is, I think it was like €8 a metre or even more maybe. Just got to be more careful and do it again. Mum would be absolutely horrified by the amount of mess that I've made since they left. But yeah, this hole just becomes my tool shed and workspace, and I'm not very organised. Well, I know where everything is, but it's just not in an organised place. Alrighty, take two. I have to also include the measurements for the shackles as well. Yeah, I've just measured it in situ here, but I'll have to calculate those distances. So it's crazy how the time flies. It's the end of the day and I've only done 2 little bridle stays, and yeah, I need to stretch them before I use them, and I think I might have made them a little bit short, so hopefully they stretch out a little bit. But I think I'll need to do that with a ratchet strap and 2 solid points. And I've got a big shackle, it's galvanized. Yeah, I got galvanized shackles because it said galvanized on the plans, but the plans are quite old now. But really time consuming, but I guess it's because I'm just starting out and getting slightly better as I go with each one. So yeah, this inner forestay is not as important as the rest, so hopefully I get a lot better. Here's the boss. And there she is, ready for some work. So I was just helping hooking the mast on, and I was also supposed to hold it while I was filming, so it started spinning, but it's all safe, no collisions, and it's nicely ready for some work. So the mast is really solid, there's no cracks, no nothing, it's very solid, it's quite thick, so it doesn't need the diamonds to keep a rigid shape, and it's also pretty much the exact same specification as in the plans. Alright, now back to, well, I'm going to drill the hole next. Drilling holes in important things is no fun. I would say that was pretty spot on actually. Happy with that. Right, I'll just drill my stainless plates and then dry fit everything together. Oh no, I'm all out of small cobalt drill bits, so I have to go to the DIY shop. All my little ones have snapped now. Every time I don't have something and I have to go out, it flipping takes. Whoa, it's tiring, but it's good exercise, but just slows things down so much. But hey, oh, that's the life. I need to get some shopping anyway. The other side's pretty perfect, but I'll just bend this a little bit more on this side and a tiny bit on here. So when I rivet it down, hopefully my rivets are long enough. I've got these monol rivets, which are a stainless steel rivet, and hopefully my rivet gun is strong enough as well. So the mast is painted. There shouldn't be too much galvanic corrosion, but I have got Tef gel, which is an isolating compound. There are little chips in the paint, so I'll just put a light smearing. I was going to use epoxy just to fill any holes, but I think I'll just give it a try with this. It's more for screw holes really, but I'll put a bit on. Nice. It's not looking too bad, it's just one corner, there's a bit of a gap. The other side fits like a glove, but just got one corner. Just don't want it getting caught or stuff. I just don't want stuff getting caught in it, like lines and stuff, so I don't know, might just, well, I don't know, I think it's alright. Alright, so I'm looking at the plans, which are for the wooden mast and also the wishbone boom, but on this plan there is drawings for the mast fittings. So these are the cap shroud fittings, and these are things that I need to make, these things called tangs. And there's two options. You can have a single tang made out of 8mm or a double tang made from less thick material. These are the intermediates and these are the lowers. So the problem is I'm putting two intermediates on, so really I should have this triangle shaped, but I don't have steel that's going to be that size, that wide. I do have some really good quality strip steel, and the previous owner had put like a double tang, they'd put two single tangs on, and I'm wondering whether that's going to be okay. It's probably not ideal. I'll check my metal collection and see what I can do. Yeah. So Peter from the Wareham next door had these left over from another mast, but he's only got two, but I can also use this as a model. I've also got some leftover proper stainless steel, but I think that's roughly the same thickness. I've also got 5mm strip. Got some 8mm strip as well. So I'll just play around and see what I'll do. So this is my mast, and then someone else has got the mast here, which is very, very similar. And this is what I need. And I'm not going to steal it. I would never do that. But I've got this. This is the exact same thickness. It's actually sort of getting there, but I just need to be able to fit a shackle, 2 shackles. The shape's just temporary, but I don't know. So yesterday was really good weather for welding because there was no wind, but it was just raining every half an hour, and it was very disruptive. Anyway, this is another trial run of a tang. This is a single tang, but the problem with having single tangs like the ones on the plans, there will be shackles attached to the tang, and so I've welded a little bit of extra material on each side, so the whole thickness of that is now 15mm. When the shackle is on it, most of the force will be bore by this shackle pin, whereas if it's just 5mm of material, it's gonna put a very, very intense load on a small part of the shackle. So that is what I was thinking, but again, this is just a trial run, and yeah, this is taking way more time than it should do. So my plan to bend this is to use this 8mm, bolt it through, and then use a bit of leverage, and maybe I can bend it. We'll see. Really happy with it. I just bent it maybe a few degrees too much, but yeah, it's good. I don't know what everyone thinks about this with the welding. Does it weaken the material much? Yeah, this could be the way to go. What do you reckon? So I had an absolute nightmare and snapped my little drill when I was drilling through, because it's such a thick piece of material now with the 3 layers. I wasn't pulling the drill in and out while I was drilling, so it just got stuck in there, and it's a cobalt drill, so it's impossible to get out. But this was a bit of a trial. I can just make a few more. They are quite time consuming to make, but yeah, anyway. So in the last video I was messing around with a dodgy earth cable. I was running the engines with it and it was overcharging the battery. I thought, oh, I can just run them for a little bit and it won't affect it. Anyway, we went to try the engines the other day. I'm with my friend Sil, who's also fixing up a small wire room in the yard. We'll take a look at that at some point. We couldn't start the engine, so I hope that it was the bad earth that has destroyed the relay, but I've ordered one of those that came today, so we're going to try and fit it, and then hopefully we can get both engines running properly. I've replaced the whole cable, the earth cable, or we did that the other day as well, so fingers crossed. Stick this relay on, a new relay, should work. So this was the old relay. I got an aftermarket one for 16 euros. For an official Yamaha one, it's over 100 euros. So is that, have you hooked that up already?
Partially, but
partially.
We have to connect the ground as last, but they have a different connecting system.
Yeah. So
we'll probably chop them off and give them a new connector.
All right, good. Ooh. So yeah, what you saw in the episode, a lot of trials and errors, and I'm not 100% 100% certain on what I'm going to do with the tanks, so if you have any experience or advice, then let me know. Yeah, this video is going to go up tomorrow, so I should be able to get your advice before I make a decision to just go ahead with something. I might go ahead with the 8mm strip that I have and just use that and just bend it properly. I'm really close now to putting the mast up. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks. Still more work to do to actually be sailing, but maybe just a few more weeks. I need to put winches, I need to sort the inner lower shrouds out and all sorts of bits and bobs. But the weather now is just, it's so warm, and the long days, no rain. It's perfect progress weather for the first time this year, I think anyway. There's no annoying rain spells that are getting in my way. But yeah, if you sat through all this episode, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave me a comment. But I'd just like to say an extra special thank you, as always, to my PayPalers, coffee givers, patrons, super thankers on YouTube. I say it every week, but I couldn't be doing this without you guys. And yeah, and I also always say as well, just by watching and commenting, it helps me a lot, and sharing as well. But yeah, tantalisingly close. 2 weeks I reckon to put the mast up. I'm just looking forward to getting out there, just anchoring out and doing a bit of work and just chillaxing, a bit of wing foiling, and just, I feel like I'm ready for that. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and see you next week. Bye bye.